Thank you, Master of Ceremonies and honorable judges. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What comes up to your mind when you hear the color red? Traffic lights, mailboxes, or tomatoes in your refrigerator? Whatever you imagine, to me, the color red reminds me of a heart. A warm heart is what Japan needs right now. How many of you have heard of the red ribbon? It started in the US in 1980s to show our understanding to AIDS patients. Unfortunately, now in Japan, not only this ribbon, but also the interest in AIDS is very low compared to other countries. And we are hurting patients unconsciously. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to discuss how we can get people's attention to AIDS and make Japan full of the hearty red. First of all, let me briefly explain AIDS. It is a disease which destroys our immune system by a menacing virus, HIV. HIV hides in us about a decade before attacking, and gradually, but certainly run patients into death. Surprisingly, up until 2009, more than 11,000 Japanese possessed HIV, and about 5,300 ended their incubation period and actually started to suffer. 93%. What do you think this number is? This is the number of people who are uninterested in AIDS in Japan, according to a survey by the AIDS Prevention Foundation in 2005. Concerning that the number of patients has been recorded the highest in 2009, we can assume that the percentage is even higher now in 2011. Our indifference prevents us from being considerate and cast them a cold stare. Every day they grow under our cold eyes, and their sadness spreads as the number of patients increases. Here is the voice of a patient. When I was diagnosed with AIDS, I felt lonelier than ever. I feared to death, but above all, I was afraid if my friends avoid being with me. Unfortunately, after confessing, they all began to treat me as something dirty, poisonous, and garbage. When I read his story, I was shocked because he was a university student just like me. Also, I noticed that I was one of the people who closed their mind to AIDS patients. Don't you think our apathetic behavior is sowing the seeds of the discrimination? I strongly recognize the need to understand their feelings. What we should do first is to know AIDS issues correctly. Actually, many enlightenment events are held. For example, we see people giving out pamphlets and goods for AIDS near stations. The problem is that those events only focus on giving information. I think that true enlightenment should be something that gives information, makes us realize patients' feelings, and involves many people. Japan fails on those points because we neither think about patients deeply nor share it with others. So, as a model, I will share an event held in Minnesota, USA. It is called the Red Ribbon Ride, an enlightening cycling event. It lasts for 4 days, and riders visit houses randomly to spread AIDS issue, patients, and the event itself to as many residents as possible. In this way, the visited people can learn and think about patients and avoid being passive. Also, as a token of understanding, they donate money to riders, which will be given to AIDS organization. From this event, Minnesota has succeeded in involving many citizens, and more than $400,000 were collected in 2010. The Red Ribbon Ride involves people who aren't involved from the beginning and gives people a chance to think how patients feel. My suggestion is, why not popularize this Red Ribbon Ride in Japan? It can be held on December 1st, the World AIDS Day decided by WHO. The system will be the same, but the Japanese version should include spreading the red ribbon. Riders put on the red ribbon on their clothes and also give donors, just like the Red Feather donation campaign that we have in Japan. Through the ribbon, we can see how prevalent AIDS has become. The more distant you go by bicycle, the closer the distance to the patients will be. This will create a meaningful cycle and opportunity to prevent expanding AIDS. What comes up to your mind when you hear the color red? The Red Ribbon Ride will make Japan full of red, the color of ribbon, ride, and the warm heart towards AIDS patients. The hearty red is what brings us together and what brings fortune to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hosoda. Now, question and answer period. Mr. Kusama, please.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hosoda.
Thank you.
You quoted the number 93% of the total Japanese is indifferent and not interested in AIDS.
Yes.
So that number is very high.
Yes,
Almost all, everybody.
Yes, I was
Yeah?
so surprised.
Surprised you.
Find that.
Is that reliable
Yes.
data? Who collected? Who developed that number? How did you know? I mean,
Yeah, when I was researching about AIDS and other information, I found one website made by the AIDS Prevention Foundation, which is the biggest organization,
yes.
biggest AIDS organization in Japan. And although there are many like NGOs and NPOs and other like government supervised organizations for AIDS in Japan, I think the biggest organization is the one that I found, and I think it's quite reliable.
Oh, that's okay. It's quite reliable.
Yes.
Okay. How's it like in the U.S.? How's the recognition or
The percentage?
the percentage? How does it compare to 93?
It's definitely lower. Lower than Japan, which means that more and more people are interested in AIDS, and actually not only AIDS, but other like sexual diseases, which is very serious among the world. And the one that I've researched, the U.S. and the U.K. was rated from 30% to 40%.
Oh, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
so it's very less than Japan.
Well, what makes that difference? Why so low in the U.S.?
Well, as for U.S., as I said, one of the reasons is because there are some events held for ordinary people to know about AIDS. For example, the Red Ribbon Ride in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I think those kind of events that actually involves people can raise the interest.
Okay, I see. You mentioned that we need to participate in how do you say that? The Red Ribbon Ride in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. And then by that we can learn, think, and avoid being passive. You mentioned that. So what's next after avoiding being passive? What's the next step? How can we put the message to the other people?
Yes, definitely.
I think one more step is necessary beyond
Yes.
that. So do you have any
Um,
specific idea?
Well, it can't there are many ways to spread your idea to other people, but one of the idea that I have is that to use social networking service,
Mhm.
which is very convenient and very popular here in Japan, and you can send and give your opinion and how you think through those social networking service and involve other people as well as you.
Okay. Do you know the specific name for that service? You simply mentioned social networking system.
Like Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah,
Yes.
Twitter.
Yeah, I personally use Twitter
Oh,
a
right,
lot of
okay.
times, like every
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not only Twitter, but like you can use other devices to
Okay.
spread your ideas.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.